Hello everyone, and what you're seeing here is the SimJack H shifter. Now, what has happened is very similar to this Jimmy Broadbent clip.
Well, I'm bothered about being like part of a swarm. What the fuck? I went to fourth. I was in fourth.
Enjoy.
And what essentially happened is I was racing, and then all of a sudden I felt a huge snap on the gear stick, and then I just lost all gears. It was exactly how it felt in real life. It was very strange. But yeah, I lost all gears, and this is explaining how to put it all back together and do it correctly. So basically what happened on the inside is that over time, the springs which hold this together, the gear selector, it's got its own spring mechanism. So let me show you. It goes back. You can go. It basically is on these two springs that go here and has a little bit of tension. So that means that you can go. It'll pivot that way and that way. So it'll go that way, first gear, second gear, and then when you go into third, it'll be able to go to center, and then you can do that again through this gated, like that, essentially. But the springs lost tension, which means that only the bottom one, so it was pivoting like that when it should only pivot like that. So I've got it almost all fully apart. As what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have the right size tools. I don't really have the right size tools, so um, it's how you're supposed to do it, but it's not how I'm doing it, as usually the case goes. But this is essentially everything. This is everything in a gear shifter that costs £100 off SimJack, and that's the cheap AliExpress version. I can't imagine what retailers in Britain are doing. But we're going to do this little guide of bringing it back together. I'll have timestamps throughout all this so you can skip me speaking. But to start off with, we will try and put in this. But what we first want to do, is we want to get this, the actual thing where you put your gear knob on. The thing you put your knob on, right? We want to put springs onto that. So first we'll go here, and the best thing that I did is because you can't really reach your fingers round to put in this screw, so I have one undone so I could pivot it. But what you don't want to do is have it pivoted all the way over here for all the access, and when you want to go put this back on, you can't actually because it's blocked. So you have it about, I say about here is your best bet, and you got to make sure that you don't break this connector. It is just a normal USB connector, a very long one, albeit that, but you don't really want to break it because that's what plugs into the little board. So you push it there, then you'll grab this. I have the camera at the worst angle because it should really be over this side. Alright, so that's that in. And what we will do is we'll do the top one first because it's the most hardest. Top screw in, just like there. And you see how it goes left and right. It uses a spring tensioner, just like this. No, focus. Come on, you gonna focus? I doesn't really want to focus at the moment, but I use a little spring like this, and you pop, and you get a little washer, place it on the screw, you get your spring, you push it down, and what comes of it is another little plastic washer. I don't have the other one, I'll explain in a second. But this is what comes in the factory, and you get this little bolt which has, I don't know if I'll be able to get it in focus, but this little bolt has little, I say, cogs. I can't really explain it, but it has little cogs on the very bottom, which helps tighten it to whatever it's on. For this case, it's been tightening onto this washer. So even though it's got more axis like this, you have to do it straight up. And make sure you cover your thumb over the bottom so it doesn't fall if you're not doing this on a flat surface. And it's going to be hard for me to try and get this in frame, but basically what you want to do, once it's all put together like that, you want to try and screw that on with your fingers. And you don't want to have it super duper tight because you'll just have too much tension when you try and change gears. But you want to have it relatively tight so it doesn't explode, because that's what I did when it came from this assembly in China. And that's what it looks like from factory. Now, when it exploded, I didn't immediately go to pick it up and pick up all the parts. So over time, they all fell out through this bottom hole, and for some reason, I lost one of the springs. So I got this one from my granddad. I went into his workshop and we found this looking spring. We cut it apart with a big blade. I don't recommend that because now it has really sharp points, which can and have cut me. So what we do next is we'll do the same on the other side as before. Screw in, we get that through, and then we get the washer. You find the same size washer, but this should be fine. And then we grab our spring. And again, I haven't found a washer. There's millions of them, but for some reason I don't have a washer. I can't find a washer. So we're really waterless. As I said, this is not how being boxed, this is how I'm doing it. And again, we will just finger tight this inch. See, I don't have friends that you cut with a lathe because that is black and that's smoking, so it can be hard to take. They're relatively about the same tension. Okay, and that's that done. So I'll give you a little demonstration of how it's supposed to be. You go left, up, down, the center, the on the right, up, down, reverse. Hopefully that was the best way that I could explain it, but it has tension, just like when you're going into a real gear. Kind of. There you go. So what we'll do next is we will find the screw for this side, because what you don't want to have is uneven, because when you try and get into a gear, the top ones won't actually go in gear without tape. That's what I've done there when I first tried to fix it, and I actually broke one of the little levers here. So I need a lot more push because it's supposed to, like, every, I don't know if I'll be able to put it in the mic, but that's the best way that I could do it. When the gear selector is on one, holds down one, that's it in first gear, and it's very sensitive, but when you have all this leeway, it just doesn't work. It's too floppy. So I'm going to try and fix that before we continue on. Now, not everyone will have this problem, it's just me at the moment, but I'll give a time mark to skip this and to reassemble it. So in here is the 7th gear, because there's actually an option for an extra £15 to get the 7th gear, and they haven't actually, there's nothing like different. This is like every one that you buy comes with a 7th gear. You just have to drill it out. Now, I don't really use 7th gear. I don't really find the point in it. I'm not driving Porsche much, and that's the only car I can think of a 7th manual gear. So I can probably take this and plug it into that, an unused one, and plug it into that. And what I know is it's kind of like hooked, is the best way I could describe it. It's more hooked inside there. So if I'll try and take it out the safest way that I can, by not brute forcing it, but just, but like that is so much. Focus, please. Yep, that's it. That's it coming apart a lot. There we go. I don't want that to fall, so I'm placing my finger underneath. Okay, screw there. You do not want to lose this stuff. And this is what I'm working with. I can see if I can try and take out this ribbon cable. Not ribbon, but this plug. Nice and gentle, just for Tyler's sake. The silver part facing my way, the left, so cool. So now we've taken it apart, as you can see, and if I face it that way, you can really see the damage. Come on, focus, ya bitch. There you go. So focus. You can see that is ever so slightly bent out of shape. So I will see if I can try and unhook this without bending the entire metal bit. And also, it's just using these pins here to connect it. So I'm going to see if I can try and gently pull that. Oh, I don't like pulling that. I do not like pulling that. Is that soldered in? I don't know. I don't really know small electronics very much. Right, that looks like hot glue, so I'm gonna not pull that. Trying to think, do I have any tweezers or anything to help me pull? Any small tweezers? Yes, I have small tweezers. There we go. I just folded it back. It's something that I didn't want to do, but there it is. Now, this will be really hard to show on camera, but there it is. That's the entire mechanism, and it has these two hooks at the bottom. And I could try, hold them, get more tension. I'll try that, and then I'll do some here. So I'll push it against the table. So I'll try and keep the little hooks flat, and then I'll try and keep the top thing straight. Then we're going to try with these wire cutters. Not break it. Simply just hold. So I'm holding it out. Push it in, straight. I heard a snap, but I don't think they ever been, I hope. Yeah, they're definitely slimed. Definitely slimed. Trying to do it flat against the table because it'll be uneven when I do it with my fingers. But that's just a little bit folding. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now I'm trying to imagine it hooked onto this because they all have a little bend. You know, little bends are alright. People like little bends. And I'll put it back into the fifth gear position. So there we go. The hook, push down. Push down on this one, and then they kind of need to be like pincered, like like that. So one side can get in, and then the other side can get in. A little bit of a jang, it's a lot more tension. And there we go, because you wanna have it with the slightest amount of force. I just lost it again. You wanna have the slightest amount of force on the top because the gear selector only ever touches the top when you don't have a bunch of tape surrounding it. So you want the slightest amount of force to hit the gear. And with a little click, so you can hear. Perfect. Now, I know the other two gears were a little bit wonky in themselves, but I think I just fixed it, and that's been a problem for months that I was living with. I was holding in fifth gear because it wasn't working. Because there wasn't constant pressure, fifth gear would never work. And now I have fixed it. I'm very proud of myself for that. Lovely jubbly. Had it facing that way, did I? Yep. So I'm just pushing in the board. I don't know. Fifth gear still looks a little bit way wonky for my liking, but we shall see. We shall see. Now you have to line up the holes in the holes. See what I mean? The bottom row, very even. Top row, very strange. Very strange indeed. Line it up, and then I'll do a test run. See, because I'm using very little force, and that works. As long as it hooks, then it should be okay. I'm a little bit worried. I might just try and do a little bit of extra force that I have it now. I have it out. And again, try and not break the board that is on. It should be fine. It should be fine. From my Lord and Savior James channel, you shouldn't do this, but I am. So you should really try and get attention. But I'm just not going to. So screws. Another time lapse. Screw is there. I'm going to just not finish it. Right, so there we are. It's back together, and as I said, it is a lot worse, but it isn't going left and right as much as it used to. So now we'll reassemble the whole thing finally. Right, so again, go here, push that in, because as I said, you don't want it to be uneven ever. We'll just do a few finger turns first, and then we'll get the almost stripped Allen key. As I said, I don't really know the measurements for this stuff, but if you have it, just buy as many Allen keys as your local shop will let you buy. Other side, which is that way, and just so nicely pops in. It's machined this way, so that you can just slide down and screw in the other side. I didn't slide it down correctly. Okay. properly in. It said silver side pointing out that way. You should know. Simple. And we will face it the right way, as the cable that goes out the back is, yeah, you can't really mess it up because there's not enough cable on the inside to plug it in. Now, something I really should have done beforehand, before putting it all back together, is to plug it in. I think I made this mistake last time because this isn't my first time taking it apart. Purely because I just like knowing what's inside. So we plug in the little Arduino thing board. There we go. It's in. And we will drop it in. Now, what I've done here, now I've noticed, is I've placed this thing upside down. You know, it should really be facing like inside third gear. So now first gear is going to be really far away, but you know, it's fine. It will just you know, if I go second to third, it might be a little bit weird, but yeah, I might go second to fifth by accident. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll put a little disclaimer, Tyler, and tell people to do it the other way around. That was a bit dumb. That was a bit dumb. That was a bit dumb, but we'll be fine. Which just pops on the bottom and lets you just put whatever knob you want on it. I don't know if this is a universal adapter between different cars. You can put in a real knob if you want, but it's whatever. Just screw that on. I'm making it really wide. I can put it down a lot more if I really want to, but I quite like having tall ones. But this is quite the explanation of what you want. You should have it in between here, but I don't. You go that 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 that. Oh, that's what I want to hear. When I push it back, I hear it. I hear it. Oh, I hear it go out. Lovely. So it's always staying in fifth gear. I used to have to hold it in fifth gear. Now I don't have to. Gear and reverse. Lovely. I hear it all. So I'm just gonna put it onto my base. Oh, my cat is on my lap. Yes, Bagel, I've done it. I'll just reattach it very quickly and I'll give you a little demonstration of it working. Are you happy? Are you proud, Bagel? Are you a proud cat?